Hi, my name is Emily Smith, and I'm doing my project on Uruguay, and it's food. Now, why Uruguay and why food? Well, in my 8th grade Spanish class, my teacher, when she was instructing us on how to pronounce these Spanish countries in a Spanish accent, the way she pronounced it was Uruguay. Uruguay, Uruguay. It sounds so different, but I thought it was really cool learning how to say it in Spanish. Uruguay. Come on, say it with me. Uruguay. That was really fun. And food, well, food is multicultural, it's diverse, it's different in almost every culture, and yet it's what everyone's drawn to when they travel. And so I'm doing my project on the food in Uruguay. Now, to start off, Uruguay cuisine is very similar to Argentinian cuisine in that they are both very carnivorous people. Lots of meat in almost every dish, yes, in some desserts. And we'll start with some of the most popular ones. Now, on almost all the websites that I searched, one of the first things to come up was asado. That's ASADO. And it's one of the most popular meals in Uruguay, also known as barbecue. Not like the barbecue we have here in the US, barbecue ribs, barbecue chicken, barbecue hamburgers, barbecue everything. It's not that kind of barbecue. You see it prepared in a grill called a parrilla, and charcoal is used, but you can also use wood or gas, but charcoal is the most popular, similar to here in the US. Now, the asado for Uruguayans is heavenly. I've not tried any, but a lot of sites have said it's the meal you want to eat if you want Uruguayan cuisine. Now, the next on my list is called the chivito. And the chivito is almost as ubiquitous as hamburgers, meaning they're everywhere. Like, in the United States, you can go, 5 miles in a city, and you could see McDonald's on every street corner. Get yourself a hamburger. Same in Uruguay with the chivito. A chivito can be found in almost every restaurant in Uruguay in one form or another. They offer at least 2 to 3 versions, but there's so many toppings you could have with the chivito. A chivito is basically a steak sandwich, and you can have a whole assortment of toppings. So imagine a burger here in the US. You go to 20 different states, you can have an array of 20,000 different toppings. It's crazy. It's the same with Uruguay and their chivitos. They are a steak sandwich, and you can have ham, bacon's a popular one, cheese, lettuce and tomato, olives, mayonnaise, hard-boiled eggs, pretty much anything you can think of. Anything you could think of on hamburger in the US, pretty much the same with the chivito in Uruguay. And for some who don't really want the steak, it can also be served with chicken. Pretty popular, either way. Next is the choripan, and that is grilled chorizo, which is a gourmet sausage, put inside a small baguette-style bread, and it's often eaten at the beginning of an asado, which we talked about earlier. So when you're picturing it, it's kind of looking like pigs in a blanket style, little with the bread around it. Yeah. So that's choripan. And the next one is milanesa, and that's all of these foods are just really fun to say. Let me just point that out. Okay, so a milanesa is meat covered with eggs and breadcrumbs, and it's all fried. So it sounds like a really good breakfast type food, but with a lot of breakfast foods nowadays, you can eat them at any point in the day and it will still be just as delicious as having them at the beginning of your day. Now, they come with a lot of variations, like the milanesa napoleonita, which is a milanesa with ham, tomato, and mozzarella cheese on top. And another popular way to eat it is al pan, a milanesa sandwich, which usually has tomato, lettuce, and mayonnaise. Sounds really similar to a BLT if you think about it. You know, tomato, lettuce, mayo, bread, crumbs, and meat, which would usually be the bacon and the BLT. And so the only thing out there is, you know, the egg. And the next item is pancho, which is the name for hot dogs in the country of Uruguay. They're smaller than the chorizo sausage used in choripan, and they're not as flavorful, but you know, with any food you could always add spice to taste. Some people like it spicy, some people like it more plain. It's all up to you. You're the one eating it. It has to go in your stomach, so however you would prefer it to be. And the last lunch or dinner type meal I'm going to talk about is steak. I mentioned at the beginning of this video that Uruguayans are very carnivorous in their selection of food. And steak here in the United States, it's grilled, it's cooked in pan, it's oven baked. All of those cooking styles can be seen in Uruguayan steak. So cows outnumber people 3-1 in Uruguay. That's a lot of cows. So it should be no surprise that steak is a national dish. And they are everywhere. Every restaurant, just like the chivito, every restaurant serves them. Every restaurant has their own way of serving them. And it all looks delicious. If you look these up on the internet, it looks amazing. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the desserts. Everyone's favorite, right? So, the typical desserts you'll find in Uruguay are churros, dulce de leche, flan, and ricardito. Now, churros, a lot of people think of them as a cinnamon-covered treat that you would get at a Mexican street festival. Well, in Uruguay, they are a cylinder-shaped pastry with dulce de leche inside and a coating of icing or sugar on the outside. And dulce de leche is a thick brown paste made from boiled milk. Sounds really good just saying it. It's often found inside other dessert dishes, just like churros, or it can be served by itself. That's always a possibility. Flan is a dessert commonly associated with many South American countries. Flan is a dessert made from milk, eggs, and sugar, usually topped with caramel and sometimes dulce de leche. And last but not least is ricardito, which is a cookie base topped with a meringue and covered in chocolate. To me, this sounds like if you were to flip a Milano cookie inside out. It's kind of what I'm thinking it would be. And so to wrap things up, Uruguay is a culture that involves a lot of meat with their food, and you know, if their numbers are 3 cows to every one person, you know, they gotta use what they have. Um, yeah, Uruguay food, wow. Looking at the pictures when I was doing my research, I was like, wow, this looks so good. So I hope you enjoyed my video, and thank you for watching.